Hi, this is Sheila with Conscious Conversation Central, and today is Sunday, September the 30th, 2018. Oh, yeah, you know what? I read that it's the last day of Pluto retrograde. So there's so many intense planetary things that are getting ready to happen that, so I thought that was pretty cool.
And if anybody, I'm just going to interrupt, if anybody thought that September went fast,
yeah,
it was slow.
Oh, goody.
Okay. Well, yeah, because it feels like September went extreme.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, so, okay. Thanks for that. So strap in, everybody.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that is what it feels like. Like, you know, the hair's blowing back and holding on, kind of.
So my cheeks are flapping in the breeze.
Yeah, like what? Like the Turner and Hooch dog? Yeah.
Yeah, like a Shar-Pei puppy.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
I feel that way. I really do. Because, you know, they're happy and they love it anyway. It doesn't matter what it looks like.
Well, this is true.
It feels good.
So, I'm gathering that this title that we've come up with here to talk about tonight has a lot to do with the fact that the energetic is picking up speed yet and again, right, BZ?
Yep.
That's what I thought. So just for those who might be interested, the title of tonight will be Now is the Time, Flowing Dark to Light on the Wings of Earth Angels. Now, I'm curious. Talk to me about Earth Angels. Do you mind? Or can we start there? Or do you want to just start with what the flowing part is?
We can start there. There are 3 Earth Angels on the camera screen right now.
Okay. That's cool.
And there's a whole lot more of them out there.
How many are tuning into this energetic envelope?
That's correct.
That's right. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, let's say that.
Well, that's what I thought you meant, but I just wanted to make sure.
Well,
there's a lot of stuff around that word.
It's it's not a question of me meaning it. It's a question of us expanding to it. So part of each of our frequencies have expanded and coalesced with other aspects of our larger frequencies, and we've pulled them into a holding in this vessel, that vessel. You know, I could do that hand movement for the myriad of other earth angels, and that's what's occurring.
I feel those aspects of me that are well, there's a couple that have really, really, really big energies. My going through this holding process with the two of you has been very instrumental in my being able to see portions of myself in the most aligned light. In other words, portions that have always been there, but through programming and conditioning, I held in a different manner. Once some of that programming and conditioning around those particular aspects or traits of myself started breaking down and becoming more easily recognizable for me to work on dissolving. It's like that's that squeezing out in some cases of the tube of toothpaste that allows more of that aspect to anchor, maybe become more fully embodied in a way. I don't know.
Mhm.
That's what I'm feeling in regards to some of that.
Yeah, and well, we've all traveled, we've all expanded, we've all up jumped, we've all been playing and committed to, people use different words to characterize it, to this process of shifting and changing everything in all of Source's multiverse. And now, in these moments of now, all flows, all systems, all energies, all, it's even down to the more finite of all the way that people are, thoughts come to people and they may think of something, or they may characterize something or something. So they're all have turned, and they're flowing now dark to light. So if they were not all that dark before, then they're getting even lighter and lighter and lighter. So it's all relative, whatever it is that you're holding in that moment or focusing on at that moment. If it was very dark, it's flowing, and it's all flowing very fast to light, very fast to expansion, very fast to light, love, and love light. And the whole frequency, rainbow frequencies of total expansion and transformation, metamorphosis, and an unfolding, and a blooming. Now, are there snapshots of moments when that flow, because we've already done the turn, if you're thinking of a big, sometimes people talk about it takes a long time to turn a big freighter, so we've already been doing this, right, this big thing. Okay, so now we're here and we're flowing, and okay, that makes sense. Okay, so when I did this and did the snap, it's there will be, for some, kind of a blowing out the pipes, a feeling of, like if you have something you put on the gas pedal and it's, your car's not quite going, it's going a little bit, and then kind of like there'll be that snap, and that snapping is internal to each being as they fully start flowing. So that will manifest in various different ways. Joy for a lot, a bubbling excitement for a lot, lots of trouble focusing, just because well, that's cool and that's exciting and that's what, so you can't quite choose. And then there will be some where that snap is like all of a sudden it's one very linear way to describe it would be a tearing away of dross, a tearing away of this kind of gray film that was taken for you know, how things really were, you know, what's going on in the world and so on and so forth. And that snap is, you know, as they move through that. So for some, it could be a bit of a jolt, a bit of a surprise, a bit of a rude awakening. Although the last isn't really, well, I don't know. I mean, if you're incredibly attached to the way things were before, then maybe it is a rude awakening. I don't know, but that's only if you're attached to, you know, not coming from the heart and not having bright colors in your life. And you know, so, but that's where we are, not where we're about to get to. That's where we are now, and that is unfolding, and it will spread. You know, if you think of you watch the ocean and the way, you know, if you look at not too close to the shore, you'll see the ocean kind of goes like this, and then as it comes a little bit closer to the shore, because of the change in the level of the sand underneath and everything, it'll start to, you know, go up, and then it'll roll down, and then it comes back out, and, you know, goes like that. So we're on the part where we're coming up, and when I look at the part where the wave is, you know, coming from this and going to come up, and, you know, it curls like this, it's just sublimely gorgeous, because the colors and the frequencies of light and all the nuances of universal love in there, and in that I can see, you know, I'll probably have to pull up a picture of a wave, but, you know, when you look at the curl of a wave, and you look at all the colors in it already, well, all those colors, but it's a transformation of everyone at that moment.
It sounds to me like you're speaking almost in terms of the event.
Well,
You said it will do something for everyone in that moment.
Well,
Did I misunderstand
not
that?
just a singular moment. It is the moment.
When it's activated, when the frequency.
I'm sorry, say that again.
It's the moment. It's the moment henceforth. So.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said, Lisa.
Oh, I was talking about that moment when your frequency rises to unlock the potential, the pure potential that's here, that is you. When that happens, then it's instantaneous.
Right.
And you have it, and it's now, and it's your event. And everybody will have that moment. And the timing of that, of course, will be just as individual as every individual is.
Right. No, I get that. I'm sorry. I was confused then because he was talking about the crest of a wave.
Oh, okay.
As though this was an energetic. I just want to be clear. I personally feel that
a never non-cresting wave, maybe, or a never non.
Oh, I see. It's hanging.
No, it's always there. It's never ending.
No, that's what I meant. Okay,
yeah.
Never mind.
Well, hanging.
I'm missing something. I'm missing part of this metaphor, I think.
Okay, bad metaphor then.
Well, I mean, for me myself, I can clearly see that the event, while described by lots of different folks, for me is all an internal and self-generated event-driven event, by meaning I will drive when, and there are several, I feel for myself, events that must take place first. Now, some of those events are taking place for me in a big way, in a quick way.
that's why I say I'm venting all over the place, right? Yeah, because it is. It's that and more. That wave, yeah. It's like for me, it's just a continual building up. And I'm not a surfer, and I don't not great with waves, but I know that I feel like it's coming in waves for me personally. So I like that metaphor for that too, because it seems as though it will expand out, and it will come up, and it will trigger certain things, and then it will receive, and I'll be like, for me personally, an integration period. And then the next one will come up and buoy me up even a little bit further, and then there'll be a receding and an integration, and there's just this constant perpetual waviness, maybe we could call it, this joyride that we are embarking upon together, the wave and I.
Well, and what we were talking about the other night in regards to all of that, because I really loved what Jeannie had to say, because I think her experience of a program, leaving, I think that's that energetic. I mean, there's a few things that I've been able to integrate very quickly over the last, I don't know, couple of days here. That,
That's that buoy effect, because we don't go all the way back down anymore. So it's just like,
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Higher and higher upward, more and more mobility into new and newer and newer and newer still territory, because we're actually creating and allowing not only more of ourselves, but we're this thing that we're creating is growing as well. This unity thing that we're giving birth to, which is our new selves and our new world, is
right. I was just pulling, I got nudged that there was an image. Oh, stop it.
All of a sudden, we can't hear you very well,
You got stopped again.
Yeah.
Hang on 1 second. I got nudged that
just letting you know.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
That's better.
I got nudged that there was a image. Here it is. That was close to, I mean, it's linear, so not quite, but it was close to, so if I can get this email to come in.
I'm anxious to see if it's anything like the image that came in my head, because I have a feeling it's going to be.
I have no images. I can't wait to see what we're getting here.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm excited because I
translate the images for me, ladies.
Okay, so I close that. I don't know, some kind of app thing. I don't know what that's about. Where's the picture? Yeah. Oh, okay. So can I share the?
Yes. Go right ahead. I can't hardly wait. I want to see, because I got a feeling it's very similar to what I was thinking.
Can you see it?
Yes. Yes.
So
yes, I love that.
Can you see my pointer?
Yes.
Okay. So this is what I saw is so much more fantastical than this, but it's,
well, yeah, me too. I saw a lot of rainbow colors, actually.
Yeah, right. Well, there are rainbow colors up in here.
Okay.
But so pretend this is like a really drab, boring black and white that's grainy, and you can't really see the wave, and then you might start to see what I'm seeing. But anyways, so part of all of this are all you could say, so see how this wave crests, and the wave normally would curl over and come down, and then it keeps rolling. But since we're cresting and then we're rolling, so we're actually going like this, although that's linear. But anyway, so think of expansion and higher vibrational.
Higher and higher.
Okay, I think okay, well, what I'm seeing in my my visual when you're describing that is BZ, you have the ability to, no, I guess not. If you were to turn this picture upside down, then it would look as though the wave were going up. When you describe that,
yeah, well, actually, it's even right there. It's upside down. It looks. Can you see here?
Yes.
This is more like the toroidal.
Yes.
You know.
That's yes.
So, I'm
well,
sick here. So this actually might be better. So the toroidal keeps spinning, and the waves. Okay, I'll make everybody sick one more time. Sorry. But anyways, it's effervescent, luminous love. Yeah. And that's what each one of us is, and that's what our whole physical body and all of our other bodies are doing right this moment. And so some of the snap that I was talking about is where this crest rolls over. You can see the flash of light that comes from in it, because that is actually that's a good representation of that flash of it's a combination of linear words all at the same time. Flash of light, flash of knowing, flash of expansion, flash of flash of I don't know how to describe that. Flash of,
I've got a word that popped into my head. I mean, it's not really a word. It's another one of those kind of material latent words. It's epiphanistic.
That would be good.
Yeah, I know.
That would fit.
And that's what I know. It popped right in my head. I was like, epiphanistic. That's what.
Because it's a combination of words all at once. So that would be holding. That would be your soul now firmly in the driver's seat. That would be veils and blinders very loose, and then you just finish to pull the last bits of them off. Or another way to look at it is, if you look here in this image, you can see where all that light and effervescence is, that it's all of the particles of you are now, you've all caught the wave together, and you're all coming in, and as this wave comes, all is together in the wave, and then it makes the toroidal in the next wave, because it's a never unending wave.
Right.
Okay. So now you have coalesced, and you are in coherence with all of you, right? Anyway, so that's
and it feels glorious and delicious.
Yeah, that's just a little bit of what I saw there coming in.
Nice.
That was awesome.
So part of the time is now in that, and this is, so get back to, so each being is flowing from dark to light, but however they would hold that, and however they would want to linearize or characterize that.
Do you mind if I ask you about that in a linear fashion?
Sure.
Because I guess what I'd like to do is, sometimes, as you know, I like to say it in my own words so I can make sure that I'm grokking, which I'm picking up what you're laying down.
All right, then let's hear it.
So when you're speaking of really, it's beings that one may consider to be of a darker variety.
It's all beings.
what, I'm sorry.
It's all beings.
Okay, well, I was just taking one because I didn't want to take the whole Megillah all at once. But okay, the dark energetic that resides within beings is now flowing in the direction of light. Period. Is that what you're stating? That's what I wanted to make sure. It's that the most horrific dark beings, let's say, one might conjure up in their whatever, you know, comprehension to comprehend that. You're saying that the as of now, they're only flowing in a light from the darkness to the light. And I feel that that's partly to do with an energetic too, right? Is it also the holding of themselves that may be in concert with that?
Yeah, because we're all doing that, and that's why the way that it came in is on the wings of earth angels. So they are everyone. This linear language is like.
No, I realize it is the truth that we all are. I feel that.
Well,
but,
what I was going to say is that those every being has the potential to be an earth angel, but currently in this moment of now, every being is not currently at the expansion of an earth angel. Okay,
I feel that.
All right. So those that are, right, those that are, they are, dark to light is flowing on their wings. So they are riding the thermals of love, the earth angels. They are helping to maneuver the energies, and all is flowing on the wings of earth angels. Another way you could hold that is that because of those beings that have expanded and had the expansion into those frequencies that are, they've got wings and they're earth angels, right? That's why that wave is transforming everything, because there is the critical mass decision, the critical energetic frequency jump to change. The whole neighborhood just got changed. It's a whole different neighborhood, and it's only neighborhoods of expansion and light.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to say this because I keep thinking it. I have a little metaphor that came up. Okay, remember when we had the flow thing, the Florence hurricane? That's the flow thing I'm referring to. Well, there was a point when they were doing the mass evacuation, or mandatory, I shall say, mandatory. They reversed the freeways. There was no going into town. It was all, and so that's, the freeways have been reversed.
There's only one direction, is what you're saying, to go.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting to. Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
There's a sign when they say traffic revision. Yes, okay. There has been a traffic revision wholesale. And
they reverse the lanes, and you can't get onto the island, only off. That's it.
Henceforward.
Right.
Now, some may, and this is a really big topic, and I think it's blowing a lot of beings' minds a little. But
yes, there has been another. I heard someone, with the whole, oh, well, you just did a little deal with the hierarchy there. If only some people are earth angels. I heard that. I heard that. But I also
But that
understand.
isn't actually what I said. I said
No, I didn't say. No, I didn't say you. And
I
I know that's not what you said.
Right.
I'm saying I heard someone who heard it in the wrong way. See,
well,
this
they
is
heard
what
it however they heard it. That's up to their ears and how they.
I understand that. I'm just saying I heard someone. I don't know. I'm just saying it.
Cool. I heard him too.
Oh, okay.
but I would, and I was about to clarify that is, however, not what I said.
No, I know.
And not
I'm aware.
near the energy of what I said. Then, and Keegan's running away. So, all beings, just as all beings have the choice and the ability and the wherewithal to have physical body ascension, all beings, because that's part of the path, have the, repeat those same words I just said, to become, they can unfurl their wings and help with the flow, right? The traffic revision, on their wings of an angel, earth angel. So that doesn't mean someone's left out.
No.
It has nothing to do with that at all.
No, exactly.
Are they all in?
No, I get that.
That was good.
Yes. Well, see, there's a frequential neighborhood. It feels to me as though there's a frequential neighborhood that very specifically is an all-in sort of frequential neighborhood. And that doesn't mean, by the way, for me anyway, that crap doesn't still come up to be looked at. It means that as it comes up, I see it right away and I acknowledge it and I work with it. And it's because,
love it.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I'm willing to do that, it seems to be integrated rather quickly. At least it feels like that for me personally.
Yeah, at Mach speed lately. It's great.
I was going to say, because you've been here and witnessed it.
Yeah, and I'm witnessing myself too.
Right.
Like I'm amazing myself right now. I can't even stand how happy I am with myself. That has happened never before. So yeah.
Just not to put too fine a point on it or nothing, but
Right. And I just
hate to blow my own horn, but toot.
Right. Well, and was there someone keeping you from being so damn happy before? No.
No, just me.
Right. So I just, that I wanted to go back to finish off with the other being who was saying that there's no guard at the door or the gate of the frequential neighborhood of that, unless, well, there is a guard, and you control the guard because the guard is you.
Well, I was going to say, I love that you brought it up in that fashion, because quite frankly, now this has been actually 2 years ago for me. I had a dream. I don't dream and remember my dreams very often, but in this particular dream, and then it also became a topic of conversation. So it's been a little more than 2 years ago. In the old campfire chat group. And that is where we talked about there are no guards at the gate anymore. There used to be, maybe, and we kind of put them there to begin with anyway, but and quite frankly, everyone will say, well, no, the Federal Reserve, and then, I get that. I do. I get what you're saying. But for me, I have that dream was that there was going to be coming a time where everybody thinks there's a guard at the gate with a gun. So nobody's going to approach the gate.
Right.
because we've all been conditioned and programmed, or it used to be, right? But no, that's what you just said there, BZ, brought that forth for me, of remembering that's correct. That's a
Now, one thing I did want to, I was actually about to start talking about before, well, right as I was about to start talking about that, you stopped with that came in and I heard it too, about, now I'm being hierarchical, and no, really not. And that is that, so you could ask me the question, does that mean that everybody is going to, does that mean, so let me do one way linear here. So if right now, let's say we have many millions of earth angels, in this little dot of this moment of now, and we're on this little dot of moment now, they can't hear me when you're doing it. Is it the same number of earth angels? From here to here? Right? No. Because there's always expansion, and more earth angels are unfurling their wings, right? And the soaring. Does that mean that all of you took the totality of all the beings that will go and choose that expansion? No, it doesn't mean that. Does it mean that all that currently, right this moment, from dark to light, that are flowing, will be as thrilled about the luminescence and all the joy that's actually encapsulated in that, and what it means energetically as I am? No. Will they ride that wave joyously, and even if it takes a little practice in flowing with that? No. Because by their own choices, the shearing force of that will be too much. But they are love, just as all of us, each being is. And so they will go into full source again and come back out as a new singularity. And it's all beautiful.
I love that. Well, I have a specific take for myself in regards to the Earth Angel thing. I got nothing but my own knowing about this, and it's nothing but any in regards to anyone else, but just me. It's a knowing for myself. I recognize what you're saying in regards to Earth Angels, in regards to myself, as that being an aspect of myself that has always been there, has always been a part of my multidimensional self. It was not until I was ready and had done some clearing of things and changed my frequential neighborhood and allowed that aspect of me to flow in. And even in this moment of now, it's more firmly anchored, but it's not. I'm aware that I have not anchored it 100% as yet. There's not much in the way, I feel. But it has to do for me of as that frequential neighborhood has changed, the veil that I held in place that prevented me perhaps from sensing that aspect of me and allowing it to flow through me freely. I wasn't capable of that in that other frequential neighborhood. It was hidden behind a veil of my own making, if you will, and not until whatever I set up for myself and drew to myself to experience as I was setting about the task for myself of dismantling that veil. In an intellectual manner, I didn't get that at the time I was doing it. But now that some of those, I can clearly feel like that's if I had to linearize it for myself in regards to what you're saying about the earth angel.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your words, of course, the earth angel portion. Mine, I feel my aspect of myself being in a goddess state, which is just my word for angel. So, I mean, it's the same thing. Maybe there's even another aspect of me that I haven't integrated yet that,
Well, I'd say a couple things to that. That was beautiful. On the veils, they're all put by each person.
I've felt that for a while too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just want to be clear, since we were cleaning up the hierarchical, and then we might have some punitive thrown in there around there, so just clean it up, just dust it.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did, because there's a lot said in a lot of different places about the veils are falling. And I have been very clear for myself that the veils have been within me. And I'm also very clear I set them up to begin with. And they will only come down when I'm ready for them to come down.
And doesn't that feel deliciously wonderful and glorious? I couldn't be happier about the whole thing. Even the not knowing or whatever that used to frustrate me doesn't at all. It feels delicious.
Right. And on the wings of earth angels, so that's a frequency vibrational range, bandwidth range of part of us that's holy. There are others. There are Christ consciousness ranges, there are galactic ranges, there are all sorts of ranges. And right now, that's what's coming. That's the one that's the most evident at this moment. But it's not linear. You don't just get one and you're done. It's just, sorry, it's not the way it works.
No, exactly. See, actually, this actually for me brings up a very cool noticing that I've had, and I think it might tie in here. There's a lot of different, there have been a lot of different folks out there that channel, let's say, an angel energy, right? And I've heard that how can there be more than one? Well, I have felt for a very long time that was easily answered by the fact that that's huge energy. And if we are all one, then of course there's aspects of that have that are just all over the place, and teensy beensy bits in everyone.
Because if there could only be one doing it, then that's hierarchical, and you're leaving everybody else out. And didn't we just say we didn't want to do that? So
Exactly.
I'm playing with you from a linear aspect right now, but it's now
I gotcha.
to actually let these things go. So also, on the wings of an angel, so it's earth angel. That's why it's absolutely, positively, super duper, no way in linearness, so that it's hierarchical, because all those that have expanded to that energy, that have unfurled their wings, that are soaring now so joyfully, are like, hop on, come on, because as you come on and as you ride on the wings of an angel and as you flow with the love and as you expand, as you're sitting here, so there's a lot of beings that are sitting on my wings, right? And their wings are unfurling as they fly on this, and then they take off. There's no hierarchical.
No, that's right.
No one gets forced to stay in any way. It's all an inside choice.
Yeah. Yep.
And thinking small in that respect, thinking from a linear ego mind, thinking with a closed heart, thinking that, well, how come they're so special and they get it and I don't, keeps the wings tight. Keeps the wings, those are big straps around your wings from unfurling. And all you have to do is let go and spread your wings.
There's a lot in that for some beings. I think that's the reasoning behind it, right? I mean, the minute you did that, I felt that the being that does that is in fear of something. And then immediately the heart shuts down. So it makes it a little harder. Yeah.
So I wanted to play for just a moment how out in the linear, out there, you can clearly see who, you may not notice all of them, but you can clearly see a number of them whose wings are unfurled and who are flowing and having light charged bliss within themselves and all around them, and happy to have all sorts, catch actual ride on their wings, and then draft from their wings while, because they're unfolded. Oh, well, I gotta catch it. Oh, I'm not cutting it. How does this work? Kind of a thing as they get used to it. So, and then there are a number. Actually, it's pretty interesting. I watched a little clip. I don't do that a lot, but I watched a little clip. There was something on Twitter, and there was a clip of a gentleman was just going, and he was looking at some of there's a bunch of protesters that were outside, I guess, during the hearing with DC with Kavanaugh and that kind of stuff, and he was very soft spoken, and he just I think I kind of turned my head, so I don't know what the beginning of the clip was, but he just is asking a question, what were their thoughts about what's going on, and they all have big signs, and there was this one young woman who was just screaming at the top of her lungs at this gentleman, and he was, she maybe looked mid to late, I'm not good with age, I don't even remember how old I am, mid to late 20s, and he looked maybe early to mid 30s, we'll say. And she was just going off on him on the question. I know what it was. He was saying, "Do you feel that people should be innocent until proven guilty?" Well, that just set her off. And he never raised his voice. He never changed how it was. He just was asking, and she would, and I thought, and I looked at that, and I heard the snap that I described in the wave. And for this, and I thought, well, that's going to be a rough ride. And actually that may be a being that may shatter. in that, because the programming is so deep and so firmly secured. And there would be a good place to, to point the hierarchical thing, but only because it's from the old false construct. And so it's not like there was some kind of attack that was going on that would, someone say, well, shields up, I got to defend it. The energy of this other being in this thing was, anyway, so that was just a moment I thought, and that's just one snapshot of one being like that. But there are many on the planet right now that have, are so ingrained in that groove of holding that this flow that we are in, it's not coming, we are here. That wave, this wave is here now. And it is suffusing each one of us. And I got to tell you, it's absolutely sublimely delicious. I mean, this here and here is just, unstoppable joy. And but there are some that that snap that I've described at the beginning of it will be, wow, zing, that was that. And some will be, whoa, and some it will be, ouch, and some it will be, quantum ouch, and some it will just shatter them. And they will then flow to full source, back into the full all things and no things, and then come out again.
Yeah.
So, and it's interesting because some people, again, they have a linear thought to it, and perhaps it's a hierarchical, or maybe it's hierarchical in the sense of, good and bad and that kind of thing. But
quite frankly, BZ, there's something that I feel gets danced around a lot when it comes to this. And for me personally, at this point, for me, the victim mentality thing is, it's still really huge for a lot of folks. And
there's going to be a lot of snapping.
Yes. And so,
yep.
That's like you said, like we did that conversation the other night, it's not supported. And therefore that snapping, it's see, because that doesn't even reside in my frequential neighborhood anymore, I really don't have a lot of time for it either. I mean, I don't know. And that may sound judgmental or whatever, and I don't mean for that to be that way. It's just not an energetic neighborhood that I care to frequent anymore.
Right.
So I would much rather do something fun or, just something different than hang out in that neighborhood. So I don't really have time for it.
Well, the neighborhood doesn't exist anymore.
No, not for me.
No, not for anybody.
Oh, I see. Well, there are folks that try to.
Well, yes, I won't argue with you there, but I'm just saying nonetheless, it doesn't exist anymore. It's no longer supported. It's absolutely no longer.
No, you're right. It's absolutely not.
Right. So, anyways, there are some beings that like I said, will not look at this the way that I do, which is incredibly fun, incredibly new adventures, incredibly expansive, incredibly delicious, with all the coherence, coming into coherence with all different beings, all beings, and then different collectives of beings, some in small groups, some in multi-millions of groups. So it's a very exciting time, very, very, very exciting time.
Yes, you're right. It is exciting. And I have, acquaintances and friends and family around this area that in conversations, I'm softening grounds that, hey, I don't know where I'm going. I'm getting my stuff ready because I don't know what the deal is, but I'm being prepared. So I'm going to prepare you a little bit. And of course, the question comes up, well, where are you going? What are you going to do? Oh, and, I can see the fear kick in some instances. And I'm like, hey, man, this is I've actually, sold everything I've owned a couple of times before, whether whatever the extenuating circumstances were, and started all over again. Oh my gosh, I've had job interviews where they said, wow, you've started from the ground floor and worked your way up a couple of different times. I'm like, yep, I know. And that's okay. That happened a lot when I was, still about 400 pounds, because nobody would hire you, or me anyway, at that point, even though I really did know what I was doing. I had to start at the bottom where they couldn't believe their luck, to get a hold of me kind of deal, So I'm used to that. And instead of looking at it the way I guess some do, I have no, it's excitement and adventure. I have no idea. I have no guidance about where I'm going, what I'm going to be doing, how I'm going to get there, none of that kind of stuff. I just know that there is an adventure coming up. And this is the, I don't know, the excitement about that. And so a lot of folks hold it in a different way. Well, what are you going to do about this? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm getting stuff, I'm whittling stuff down. And when it's time to go, depending on what the circumstances are, some of it might come with me and some of it might not. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
And so the disbelief and the, you can't do that. And I'm like, well, why can't
Watch me.
I was going to say, why can't I? What you mean is you can't do that, or you're afraid to do that, or whatever. But yeah, I can. I'm gonna.
Well, and we've talked about this before, and I think it's time to play with it again in another conversation, its own conversation. But the unknown is actually the unlimited. And actually, that's good.
Right. I love that.
Yes, that's right. That's one of the reasons I want to hold everything like this. I want to hold it all like this. Because the minute I even try to, because to me now, even loosely holding something is starting to feel like boxing stuff in.
Yep.
So if I don't hold it open like this, I'm even if I'm just, instead of, like this, even if I'm just like this, I'm inhibiting something.
Well, yeah, think about it, because you're limiting, only you see, right here, you're setting parameters, you're setting limits. Take it all.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
Everything.
And think of those as feathers, right? On your wings. So if you're going like this, you're not going to be able to soar. You're not going to be able to ride the thermals of love, because it's like, right? That's right.
I love it.
Yes, absolutely.
We're flying high, ladies.
And isn't it delicious?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So what
I had a family member that was here this evening and heard me use the terminology cosmically delicious. And she just thought that was the coolest thing. So
Me
it's
too.
just loaded with deliciousness. And she's like, that's really cool.
It is cool.
So one of the things I'd love everybody to play with, and I might do a kind of a guided wing trip.
All right. I'm in.
Yeah, I'd like to put my order in to be in too, please.
I would love to have everybody feel into that, play in that, go to a place, physically go to a place wherever you are, that where you can feel changes in the wind, and maybe changes very slight differences in temperature and stuff, because those are thermals. Those are air currents and thermals around you. And haven't you seen, I know you have, and I know we've all done it as kids, and isn't that fascinating? Yeah, I can see it, absolutely. So when we were riding, we were tapping into our earth angel energy.
No,
When we would, huh?
No, go ahead. I can't wait to hear what you're about to say.
When we would be out in the grass and we'd spread our arms and we'd soar around and we'd look up at the sky, and we were connecting to that part of us, and we knew it. And it was so fun and so freeing. And sometimes it was only for a moment, and sometimes we would just, soar and spin, all along. And that was a kind of a remembering and a calling forth there. Now is we're there. We are doing this now. This is not something to come. It's not something that will come. It's something that's here right now. And we're the only ones keeping a purported hierarchical train with us away from that.
Yeah.
And so every choice that you make, every situation that you're in, every thought that flows, and you then give it your focus and attention, is all your choice. And a linear way would be say you could choose wisely. Well, hell with that. Choose love. Choose expansion. Yeah. Choose to ride the thermals. Choose to play in not having all chapter and verse and details, and go with it. Because it's the truth of who you are. It's what is happening unequivocally in these moments of now, and it's going to expand. And remember, we started the very beginning of the conversation when I said, has anybody noticed they thought that September went fast? It was slow. September went slow. So that could give you two things to play with. One is that time is disappearing. And two, your expansion is such, and what you are accomplishing, even if you don't think you were accomplishing anything, and what you are shifting and changing in all of your bodies is so immense, so tremendous, so auspicious, so fantastic, and so never been done before, ever, that it's really magical. So get on board, you can just ask your soul. Say, I'm not certain I feel my, earth angel wings, and I'm not sure how to do it. But I hear tell there's others around, so I'd love to ride on their wings for a bit. I hear I'm welcome, and you are. And then, look at the view and, ride the thermals, and then you know, you're gonna feel like your wings literally are like, you know, popping out a little and wanting to spread a little. And then the wind, the thermals, the love will dry your feathers and tickle them open, and then, you know, spread them. And you might feel and sense and have a knowing and a direct experience of knowing, where you can see, and, you know, maybe like me, you can see with your eyes as well, that there are a whole lot of earth angels with their wings fully unfurled, fully catching those currents in the river of love. And they're like, wasn't the Wright brothers had the airplanes where there was a double wing?
Yeah, they were called bi-wing planes.
Okay, well, these are the quantum version of a bi-wing plane, because the top wings are all the new earth angels that are catching a ride and flying their wings out, and until they soar off, that's kind of what it looks like. And when they soar off and they catch and ride those thermals, you know, they beckon and say, hop on, let's go.
Well, for me, I feel led to share that, because I did hear there's at least one question out there that says, okay, yeah, but I don't understand. How can I get there? I don't get it. Because, you know, that was me. I actually said that myself. You guys know that. The only thing I can share is, for me, looking into me and questioning every single visceral response to anything that came up, anything that felt like that I had an initial, what I would say, a reaction to rather than a response for. Or even, actually, for me, for a while, I had to stop trying to actually respond at all and allow something to sit with me for a minute. You know, and that was difficult at first, but, and then even once I started doing that, I found the need to hold everything in an open position. Everything, every single thing. Because I really didn't get that for a long time, what you're talking about right here. And when I think back to, wow, all the integration that had to take place, all the pain that had to be thrown off before I could really feel the truth of me. I sit here in this moment of now in awe of myself, to be right brutally honest, because a lot has taken place for me in the last year. I think I'm just really in this moment of now feeling how much has taken place for me. Wow. So that's how one gets there, or at least that's what worked for me. It may not be in that particular step or order for anyone else, but for me, that's what I had to give myself the freedom to do. By the way, I had to allow myself the freedom to examine every single thing, no matter how painful it might have looked on the outside at first, or how smarmy wanted to bat it down, or needed to feel right in all of those cases. For me personally, that's what that took. I by no means, I'm a long, long way from where I began in that. And I don't know how close I am to actualization of anything. But once I'm there, I think I'll know. Got a feeling everybody else will too, but you know, so that's an answer to the question that I heard as to, okay, well, how do I even, that was what I had to do. Doesn't mean everybody's going to do it in that way, like I said, but.
So I want to give a couple answers to that question.
Okay.
From a very linear answer would be, there is at least one manual out there, and it's a video manual, and you could look at that and start at the beginning. Start at the very first one that you did with me. What was that? What did we look at? It was October
22nd, if I'm not mistaken.
So, and you know, don't binge on Bob Newhart. You know, binge on expansion for yourself. So that's there's a manual of sorts out there. If you like the linear thing, that's not the only one, but it's one I can point to right this moment. There are lots of others out there. That would be one. Give yourself a break would be another one. Make a date with yourself in the next 48 hours from watching this. It is the most important date you will ever have. It's the most important thing you will ever do from your linear aspect. Go to a place that's out in nature. And yes, even in the city, there are places that are in nature.
I know Nicholas has shared some beautiful ones.
Yes. So go to a place, choose a place, and schedule a minimum. And I'm speaking to those who say, well, I don't have time, I got to do this and this, you know. For those who are not still attached to that, okay, fine, then you can disregard the time parameters. But schedule a minimum of 17 minutes for yourself. Cell phone is not allowed with you. No keys in your pocket. No, and if you have appointments or something else, or the brain's going to start ticking, then, you know, put a bubble cushion outside of that. But for this date, the date will last a minimum of 17 minutes. It can last longer if you like. I'm not certain, you know, if you're new to this, that you'll be able to take more than 17 minutes, but you never know. And in that space, that's nature. So it could be one tree on the curb or wherever it is. So that's pleasing to you. And, you know, so in the next 48 hours, be tooling around looking for that place if you don't already have one in mind. And if you can, take your shoes off and put your feet in the grass. If not, just be in that space. Notice all in that space. Don't observe it. Just notice. And don't fight with thoughts or whatever's that come up. Just notice them. Like you notice a leaf slightly shifting on a tree if it's there. The thought, just, you know. And what you're committing to and agreeing to in those 17 minutes is to be fully present, to be fully tuned in. And if your brain comes up with the hows, you go, well, I know for certain for 17 minutes and to be in this place. That's a how. Those are answers to how. And flow with it. And in that space, come to a choice that you are committed to you. You are committed to unfurling, we're talking about it here, so you could use unfurling your wings. You're committed to expansion. You're committed to being all in. If you're not even sure how you want to enumerate it all, just say, I'm all in. I stand up, I'm standing in, and I'm all in. And be there. So that's another answer to that question. And aside from noticing and playing, which can't be overstated, one of the things, it's really as simple as making the choice. And sometimes you may have to make that choice 152 million times in an hour, or maybe in a 15-minute block of time. Doesn't matter. So what? Who cares? You keep doing it. So any question, any conversation, any thought, any interaction, any place you drive by, anything that happens in work, anything that happens when you go to bed, when you wake up, when you eat, when you take a shower, when someone comes to you, whatever it is, anything, anything, all anythings, all everythings. Just keep choosing the expansion path. Keep choosing the flow path. Keep choosing the play and noticing path. And there is no how, because each moment is a singular moment, and there will be different things. But the feeling of choosing. If you're looking at something, okay, this feels like the choosing path for noticing and being committed and having expansion. Well, you're the expert, so I'd say spot on. That's the path to go on, because you know the way to go. You know the way to go.
I'm starting to feel what you mean by, okay, so if I'm I don't know, doing something and something feels constricting, I take pause for a moment. Because there's a choice in that. I don't have to choose that if I don't want to. Mm-hmm. As I am creator, and I can choose to experience that or not.
Right, in a really simple way, and could be described as a very challenging way, is, it's a choice. And the thing is that you're not small. You're not unlimited. You know how to do this. And as you are doing the expansion, as you're opening the heart, as you're committed and 100% all in, then more of you remembers and is remembering more of you. And it happens. And remember how we started this funny how we keep going back to this, how we started this conversation at the beginning of September, and people thinking that it's fast, right? Well, it's slow. So it won't take but a hair's breadth of supposed time to do this. Sheila just talked about, the dizzying pace and the expansion in this last year, or we're not to October something yet, so it hasn't been a year yet.
No, not quite. Well, the expansion path that I was speaking of actually did start for me a little bit more than a year ago, but It's been a bit of a fast track since October of 2017. So, I mean, I'm sorry. That's what I was saying. I actually started this particular portion of my expansion little before I met Lisa, actually, even in virtually. I can recognize that there was a particular trajectory that I was already on as I was beginning to examine my visceral response or reactions to things and giving myself a moment to pause in that. I didn't have the words for, that it was, I did know that some of it was programming and conditioning, although I didn't hold it quite as, I didn't quite see it like that at the time. I did sort of, but I don't know how to explain that. But anyway, so I was already on that trajectory. But yeah, in the last year, it's been, well, I didn't feel it until I sat here with you all just now and really looked at what I have integrated.
Right. So I'll go back and say again, remember what I started the conversation with about September. Okay. And then I alluded to what Sheila had said, and she just, put more of a thing on it, right? So that was slow. And so there's 2 points I want to make with that. For those the one who asked this question, and others who actually said, yeah, I want to know that too. Don't let part of your thought process go, well, that's going to take for, So that's why I'm bringing that point up. And for all others, it's on. And, the shifts and changes, the expansion, the fun, the adventures, the creations, pick an expansive word and there you go. It's all flowing. Fast and slow there, because there is no time anymore. It's just flowing. It's absolutely flowing in a delicious manner that's unique to you.
Yeah, that's a really key point there, BZ. It's unique to each one of us.
Mm-hmm.
That's for me, that is part of the cosmic humor of all of this too, because everybody is wandering around wanting to understand each other. And that's why I really truly feel like, to a degree, the feeling of the energetic is so much more important, because there's not
well, that's how you do it,
because we are so unique. That's why, because we've had a lot of conversation in this house today in regards to definitions of words and all of that, and my definition of any kind of word is going to be completely different than anybody else's. For me, that was the one thing I had to get over. I had to, because I feel like that's the case for everyone. And everyone, I'm sure there's lots of folks that don't feel like that, but that's part being a unique portion of source. It is the experiences that inform how a word or even an energetic is held.
Yeah, and the definition that you had on October 21st, 2017, and now
is completely different.
She had to burn that book.
Yes, it is completely different. You're right.
And the one she just wrote in the last day, out the window tomorrow.
That's why this is so important. I don't want them fingers to be snatched off. Your lid lopped off of your little box I'm putting myself in. I don't want that. Hold it like this, because, that's the one thing we can definitely count on is change.
So, you know, go play with it. Have fun. It is, I can absolutely guarantee you it's more amazing, more fabulous, more delicious, more awe-inspiring. And those are pitiful pale words to describe it.
Yes.
And it gets more of that every moment that you flow in.
Yeah, just like anything else, it begets more of that.
Mm-hmm.
So, wow. Lisa, did you have anything you wanted to add to this particular energetic envelope?
Oh, I think that was beautiful.
Awesome.
Thank you. That's what I have to say. Yeah. I'm having a ball. The high flying was good tonight, ladies.
I know, right? Okay, so we will, BZ, was there anything else you wanted to add to this one?
Only to say that this is, you know, it's a big jump in a concept, a big jump in a knowing for people to feel into, and you're doing great. Because if you're listening to this, you brought it to you. So you are actually giving you a tremendous amount of help and love and assistance and flight lessons and soaring tutorials for, you know, for riding the thermals of love. So keep going.
Awesome. I concur, because it's that's all I can say. It's so much fun. All right, awesome. So I will have everyone's information that I always include, ways to find Lisa's blogs and also the IUV BZ's blog, way to get in touch with me, and of course the Conscious Conversation Central Facebook page. And I haven't said this in a while, so, you know, hey, subscribe if you found this and you like it, and, you know, we put out videos all the time. So thanks, and till next time.